Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Figures and Flippy Shit Wrestling podcast. We're going to do our weekly wrestling recap where we look over the last week in wrestling, talk about the things that we saw, where it seems like things are going, give thoughts and opinions. And we encourage you guys to do the same. So we didn't end up doing the live stream for Backlash, and I'll be real honest, it's because live streams are a pain in the ass, and it's kind of hard to fill that time.
It's just too much to do.
Yeah. So basically, our review of Backlash, probably one of the best crowds ever that we've seen.
Yes.
The show was fantastic. There's a lot of fun stuff going on. Definitely check out Backlash. It's a good time.
Yes.
But that being said, we're going to dive into WWE first, and we'll see what some of the fallout was from Backlash. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the World Heavyweight Championship title tournament. So they had 2 triple threats on Raw, 2 triple threats on SmackDown. The winner of each triple threat faced each other in the main event to determine who was going to go to Crown Jewel Champions.
Yes.
In Saudi Arabia, which we don't watch the Saudi show, so we'll find out the day after who won the world title. But the triple threats that they had were pretty solid. I thought SmackDown's triple threats were a little better. For Raw, we had...
I liked Raw's better.
I thought SmackDown's were better. That first one on SmackDown was really good.
I'm not a big fan of Bobby Lashley.
Mm-hmm.
I like AJ Styles, but I could take it or leave it with him. I like people better on Raw.
Yeah. Well, I just thought the SmackDown matches were better. Maybe just the first one. I think the first one on SmackDown was the best one this week of the 4 triple threats. Mm-hmm. That was the one with Edge, AJ Styles, and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
It was crazy because those guys aren't young, but they were putting together some pretty innovative offense. But yeah, so on Raw, our triple threats were we had Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Damian Priest, which I saw a report this week that said that people backstage believe that Damian Priest is a main event player. Good for him. Mm-hmm. I like Damian Priest. I've liked Damian Priest ever since he was in NXT. So it's good to see that rewarded for him. And of course, Seth Rollins won that one, and he won that one pretty clean. And then we had Cody Rhodes, Finn Balor, and The Miz, which you could kind of see it coming from a mile away. Lesnar came in and just trucked Cody. And since Cody got trucked, he got eliminated from it, and Finn Balor ended up winning. So the main event was going to be Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Mm-hmm. And as soon as that was determined, I was like, well, shit, this is going to be good, because whenever those two wrestle, it usually is good.
Yes.
But we kind of followed up with Cody after, but we'll get into that in a minute. But the result was that the main event on Raw, we had Rollins and Balor, and Rollins ended up winning, and it was a really fun match. They got a good solid 15 minutes. Rollins did this variation of the stomp I haven't seen before to kind of set up his usual stomp. It was like a front stomp.
It looked more brutal. It looked pretty brutal.
It did. It looked like Finn Balor's head just snapped back. It looked really good. The way Rollins hit it, and the way Finn sold it
too.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Seth moves on to Night of Champions for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think he's going to win it. I think he deserves to win it.
I think he deserves it.
Yeah. Plus, he's somebody that hasn't lost to Roman, so if he wins it, it doesn't feel like second place.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like the second place title.
Yeah.
Let's see. Our SmackDown triple threats. We had Edge, AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, which, like I said earlier, was really fun.
A lot of fun spots.
Check it out if you get a chance. It's really fun. And then the second triple threat was Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, and Sheamus.
Yeah.
And this one was pretty good. Bobby Lashley got busted open at one point and was bleeding throughout the match. And that made him look like a monster.
It did, yeah.
Lashley looked cool with blood on him. I just hope he's all right, because it looked like it was a pretty gnarly cut. I think it was when Theory put him in the steel stairs. I think his head hit before his shoulder did.
I think so.
And I think that's what caused it.
I saw that, and you were like, oh, no, he's good. And I'm like, okay, well, if he starts bleeding, I'm going to know he hit his head, and he did.
Well, there you go. Bobby Lashley won that one. So we had, for the final on SmackDown, we had AJ Styles versus Bobby Lashley. This match was really fun. Both those guys can go. It's crazy that AJ Styles is 43 and Bobby Lashley is 46.
I don't know this match. I couldn't stay awake during this match.
But what I saw was good. AJ Styles won clean, which doesn't happen to Bobby Lashley all that much. Yeah. So kudos to AJ. So the finals for the World Heavyweight Championship Tournament at Night of Champions is going to be Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. That match is going to be that's going to be good.
It wasn't Lashley.
Yeah, Lashley and Rollins have feuded enough.
So I'm glad it wasn't the same old things.
What I liked in the Lashley triple threat, the one that he won, was Austin Theory did what he tried to do at Backlash, where he threw out the person and then won the match. Well, Bobby Lashley threw Austin Theory out to win this match. So I thought that was a pretty fun little thing there. But I hope Lashley and Austin Theory are done feuding.
I'm done with the same feuds. I'm very over that.
This is why we moved things around.
Yes.
So
the bloodline.
We'll dive into Cody and Brock a little bit. So Cody cut a promo after because Brock had this really weird promo where he was like right in the camera. You could see where he was stitched up. Brock Lesnar bled at Backlash, which is something that doesn't happen very often.
It was planned bleeding.
Yeah, and it looked awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, being Lesnar, he just used the turnbuckle and just busted himself open hard way because that's Brock Lesnar. So he challenged Cody to Night of Champions. So we're going to get a rematch of Cody and Brock Lesnar at Night of Champions. And honestly, I'm not sure who's going to win that one, and I wasn't sure who was going to win the first one. Because I can't tell if Brock is the adversity Cody's going to go through, or if Brock is the start of the adversity they want to put Cody through.
I just hope that we don't dwell on this forever.
It's
already starting to get a little old to me.
I think we might end up with Cody and Brock at SummerSlam.
Because you can't just put Brock on somebody and keep them on them forever. That's so freaking boring.
Yeah.
So, but
I want, if Roman's not going to lose the titles at SummerSlam, I want Gunther and Lesnar at SummerSlam.
What are you doing?
I had something in my eye. What's fun about that is even Gunther wants a Lesnar match. Like, he said that.
I mean, just something. Get away from Cody Rhodes. I don't want to stuck on him all the freaking time, like another Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Like, why can't Brock work with other people? Why is it just one person for months and months and months and months every single time? That's so boring to me.
Well, anyway, you alluded to earlier, we're going to talk about the Bloodline a little bit, because the Bloodline had an eventful week, which usually happens when Roman comes back.
Once a year when Roman comes back.
So the Usos and Solo were victorious at Backlash, but there was a lot of dissension there. At one point, Jay was Solo grabbed Jay for the Samoan spike, not realizing it was Jay, and Jay was all like, "You want to hit me? Come on!" It's just great family drama stuff. Yeah, I know. That's why I said at Backlash they were victorious, but this happened.
Okay.
So we get to SmackDown. We didn't really do anything on Raw that I remember. I think the Bloodline really wasn't on Raw because KO and Sammy fought Imperium.
Yeah.
Which I thought we were moving on, but Saudi's bringing us right back, but it's bringing us back with a twist. So Roman comes out with the Bloodline and stuff, and he's talking about how everybody in that ring main evented WrestleMania this year, but a couple of them didn't get the job done, said the problem was the Usos. He demanded an apology. He was mad that the match was dedicated to him when they have tag team champions in their family line. And Roman at one point shoved Jimmy because he didn't get his apology, and Jay had to step in. And damn it, WWE, if the crowd starts saying holy shit, don't censor them because then we miss parts of others' promos. Stop doing that.
I know. I'm going to go back to what I say every week. The show starts at 8. If you don't want your children to watch the show, put them to bed. It is 8 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Come on.
Yeah, but it's just because Jay came in and said something, but I didn't catch what Jay said because we can't let the crowd say holy shit on TV, even though kids hear far worse than that every day just living through life. Jay stepped in, and Jay was like, give us one more shot at the tag titles, we'll take care of it. And you and I both were like, this was fun, but we're done.
Yeah.
And Roman dropped, he was like, yeah, the tag titles are going to come back to the Bloodline. And Paul Heyman announced that it was going to be Roman and Solo against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
That makes me nervous.
At Night of Champions. Why does that make you nervous?
Roman doesn't lose. They literally created a new belt because they didn't want him to lose his titles.
No, what's scary is...
And it's in Saudi.
No, here's what's scary. When Roman was leaving that segment, he was eye-fucking the World Heavyweight title sitting right there. He wanted it too. And everybody's...
I don't want him to have... I would much rather Roman be gone from the company than have every belt. If Roman gets every belt, I will not watch. What's the purpose of watching? If Roman has every title, why the fuck do I care what happens at that point? He's never going to lose the title. So, who cares what happens? Why should I watch it?
I don't think he's going to get that title. I think he was just playing with people.
Well, I don't like it. I want him to leave. I'm okay if he leaves. I'm done with the Roman era. Nobody,
Really?
yeah, because it's screwed other people. I feel like Roman Reigns, how they book him, not him himself, but how they book him, screws other talent.
It does suck because Roman deserves to be a dominant heel champion.
I'm not saying he
just
doesn't
not with
deserve
2
it.
belts.
Right. I think he does deserve it. He's worked very hard to get where he is because the crowd shit on him a lot when he was a face.
Yeah. Oh, he's
so like
miles
I'm not
ahead of where he
saying
used
he
to
doesn't
be.
deserve it. It's just you
When it's
literally
both titles,
monopolize.
when it's both titles, it holds everything
right,
hostage.
and you refuse to have him lose it. Like he's gone 1,000 days, and that sounds great to WWE. To me, I want to pull Vicky Gunvalson in.
Well, here's the thing. I do have to give Roman credit for this because I saw this statistic this morning because I was curious about it. When Brock had his 502-day reign as Universal Champion, he defended the title 7 times. Roman has been champ for almost 1,000 days, so double that. He has defended it 28 times. So, I mean, he's defending it more than Brock, at least.
But would it, though, if you average it out?
What do you mean if you average it out?
If you average out the numbers, is he really defending it that much more than Brock?
Well, the easy thing to do would just be double it. If you double 7, you get 14, and Roman has doubled that double.
Oh, wow. So he's doing it twice the amount.
No, he's doing it 4 times the amount.
4 times.
Yeah.
Either way, how is that still fucking good?
It's better.
1,000 days,
what
28 defenses.
What I'm saying is that Roman could have had 1,000 days and only like 10 defenses. So it could have been worse.
I don't care. It's still pretty shitty how it's booked.
I agree.
But just getting to the point of it is it's just not good how he's booked. I don't care if it's still better than Brock.
Well, I get that.
It's still not good.
Well, point is, I don't think he's going to win the tag titles either. I think the Usos are going to try to step up and be helpful, and I think they're going to screw it up.
I hope they do because, oh God.
Because I think what we're going to end up doing is, I think at SummerSlam, we're going to end up getting Roman and Jay.
For what? Jay to lose?
Probably.
Jay just use it like everybody else does against Roman?
Probably.
Like, I know I sound very bitter right now about Roman, but it's like, I don't even care to watch his matches at this point because I know the outcome. Like, he's gonna win. So it's like, why even bother watching at this point? What, I get to hear him say, acknowledge me? I can go back and rewatch another episode and hear that. So, like, I'm getting very burnt out on Roman Reigns running the shit and not even being there.
Okay.
Can we move on, though?
Yeah, we can move on.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll pivot over to the women's division. So Rhea had a squash match on Raw with Dana Brooke, which Rhea's still the SmackDown champion, Bianca's still the Raw champion, but they're defending them on the other shows. Just rename the titles.
Yeah.
But Rhea squashed Dana Brooke, I think it was, and then Natty emerged as her new challenger. I mean, good for Natty, but Natty hasn't felt like a threat in a long time.
No, she never wins.
Yeah, so, I do like the idea that Rhea's first challengers are maybe people that are easy for her to beat to kind of build her up, but I hope we're just not building her up to fall. Like, she needs a good signature defense. Like, beating Charlotte Flair is a big deal. WWE's made that very apparent. But we need to make sure we capitalize on it and give her some good quality wins and give her a decent title reign because she freaking earned it.
Well, WWE's got to book the women differently then.
Yeah. But then on the other side, we had Bianca Belair. She had a celebration because Raw happened in her hometown of Knoxville. And it's funny because they did all the celebrations. Somebody prepared all those balloons that were there, set everything up just for the segment the last 5 seconds. It definitely felt like, or no, this was on SmackDown. I'm sorry, not on Raw. It definitely felt like this segment was rushed. Like maybe somebody went long. I'm thinking probably the Bloodline because the Bloodline has lots of dead air in it. That's my one issue with the Bloodline is it's a 15-minute segment that could have taken 5. But basically, Asuka showed up out of nowhere, and you could tell right away Asuka had mist in her mouth. Like you could tell because she didn't have her mouth open or anything like that. So you could definitely tell she must have popped the mist backstage instead of coming out and talking and then popping it. But she came out and she misted Bianca. She got her good too. Give me your hand. She shook her hand and pulled her in and just right in her face. Yeah. And Bianca sold it like somebody threw acid in her face. Like she was hopping around and screaming. They tried to give her a towel. She'd just throw it and it's like, Bianca, use it on your face.
It was nice. It was good. I thought it was funny at first, but then after 5 minutes, I was like, oh, enough with jumping around.
But then we went back to the trainer's room and she was still jumping around and still throwing towels. And she's obviously pissed. And I know backstage has kind of pitched this as a heel turn for Asuka. But I think this would be a good opportunity to turn Bianca the other way.
And get the title off her.
And kind of refresh her a little bit. Because Bianca feels like she's been in neutral for a while. Probably since she beat Becky Lynch. Her character really hasn't had an arc over the year. Mm-hmm. You know, you could say that about other characters like Cody Rhodes, but Cody was out for 9 months of the year.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen Bianca every single week, and kudos to her that she's there every single week. She could be another Roman. She could be Charlotte Flair. Let's make a little bit better comparison there.
I mean, I feel like it's right to make it to Roman because Charlotte Flair hasn't won the title for a long time.
Yeah.
She doesn't hold on to it for a long time.
No, that's true. That's very true. And we had a segment on Raw with Trish and Becky Lynch, and this feud seems like it's heating up. I wonder if they're going to fight at Night of Champions.
Maybe. My only concern is that Trish doesn't... Her moveset is not... She's not that good anymore, wrestling. Mm-hmm. Like, she relies on the other women too much to carry her. Mm-hmm. Which I guess Becky could, but I don't know.
Yeah. But we had that going down. As far as the women's tag titles, we had Damage Control fighting Raquel and Liv, and they lost. But before that, Bayley was cutting a promo where she was like, "Io, I'm sorry, I thought you had it, but I guess it just wasn't your time," even though Bayley fucked it up.
She said, actually, I think she said that you weren't, I thought you were ready, I guess you weren't, or something like that, and putting it on to Io about how she wasn't ready for it.
Yeah. I'm waiting for, I think Io is going to be the one to turn from Damage Control, and
yeah,
that should be fine. I would say after the match they had at Backlash, let Io turn away from Damage Control and let Io be the one to beat Bianca at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Because, she wasn't much of a threat when it came in, but that match for her was a star-making performance.
Yeah.
That's something she can build on and be a credible threat and take the title off Bianca. You know, maybe Io sides with Asuka. You know, I don't think she needs to do that. I think Io could fly by herself just fine. But I wouldn't mind seeing after that. I wouldn't mind seeing Io take the title off Bianca. I'm wondering if they're going to have Asuka do it now that Bianca's past that reign. But Asuka's also on SmackDown. Well, so is Io. So you're going to have... Well, Bianca is too. You're going to have to take the Raw title and put it back on Raw or change the name.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do something.
You are.
So that kind of takes care of the women's division for the main roster. There's nothing really else I could think of that kind of stuck out. Chelsea and Sonya are trying to get them another title match, but they're kind of just doing the same thing that they've been doing.
Yeah.
They have like a little petition or something they've been carrying around.
Because they say they're going to go against Damage Control.
Yeah.
Because the current champs are going to lose, they say.
Yeah. Well, the current champs didn't lose, so now we're going to get the current champs and Damage Control, or not Damage Control, Sonya and Chelsea on Raw, and Isla Dawn and Alba Fire were watching. I still think they're going to merge those women's titles.
Probably, because they don't really give a shit.
Well, I mean, there's not enough women's tag teams to have two sets of tag titles.
Because of them. Because of WWE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that.
So they screw themselves with women's titles.
Okay. I can see where you're coming from on that. But we can go ahead and talk about some of the premieres that we saw from NXT. So Pretty Deadly had a segment with the Brawling Brutes. Mm-hmm. I was monitoring the live thread during SmackDown, and you can tell the people that watch NXT and the people that don't, because the people that don't watch NXT didn't really get Pretty Deadly.
And that goes back to the main roster being surface value. They don't give a shit enough to actually look into it more.
I think vignettes would have helped. I think vignettes would have been fine. Indashir and Jinder Mahal cut a promo on Raw.
Which I don't care about them either. I don't like Jinder Mahal.
Yeah. Zoe Stark debuted on Raw by beating Nikki Cross, so she's off to a good start.
Which sucks for Nikki Cross, because I don't get the big appeal with Zoe Stark. Mm-hmm. I don't see it. She's a very bland, very boring heel to me. Mm-hmm. Like, what does she do that's so different from other heels? I don't understand.
I don't know. I mean,
I would much rather Nikki Cross win.
I mean, I think she's good in the ring, but I agree with you. The character still leaves a lot to be desired.
Yes.
Cameron Grimes beat Baron Corbin on SmackDown in one move.
Yeah.
So we're continuing the fall of Baron Corbin. So I wonder if we're heading for a repackage with him again. Poor Baron Corbin, man. He's just like repackage after repackage. And he's good at what he does. Just turn it back to the character he started. Like the lone wolf character.
Yeah.
Like, go back to that.
He's all by himself now, so why not?
Yeah. This could really play into him being a lone wolf.
Yeah.
Everybody's falling out.
I mean, it's Triple H. He might be doing that. He likes storytelling, so.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they're doing something with Baron Corbin. I don't think that all this is for naught, because he's on TV every single week.
Yeah.
And you don't do that with people that are just losing. Like
really? Like Chad Gable?
I mean losing in seconds.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like straight up squat. Like Omos opponents aren't on TV every week. Speaking of Omos, I don't think we had an Omos sighting this week. Homo sapiens in shambles.
That's okay.
The other NXT premiere that we saw was Grayson Waller is going to do the Grayson Waller effect next week, and he says he's going to do it with the winner between Lashley and AJ Styles. So AJ Styles is going to be on Grayson Waller's show.
Which should be fun.
That's a fun feud for Grayson Waller to cut his teeth on the main roster.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Because he'll be able to get under AJ Styles' skin very easily.
Yeah.
It won't be hard.
No. AJ's very thin-skinned, just like he thinks the world's flat.
Mm-hmm.
His skin's very thin.
Oh, man. Yeah. I hope Grayson Waller busts something out, like referring to being from on the other side of the globe. So that was the NXT premiere. So NXT's call-ups, it definitely seems like they have directions for them. So we'll see what happens with that. Overall, I thought main roster WWE this week was pretty fun. I thought Raw kind of flew by because we watched most of it live and it trucked right on by.
Yeah.
SmackDown flew. So main roster WWE this week was pretty good.
But it wasn't my favorite, wasn't my pick of the week though for favorite
show. It wasn't, but man, Raw and SmackDown could have contended.
It was a good week for wrestling.
If Dynamite was weaker, we would be talking about Raw or SmackDown being the show of the week.
Yeah.
My only gripe with it is, where was LA Knight? You had him drafted on TV. He's over with the crowd. I saw a clip of a video where he did a dark match of Puerto Rico, and they loved him there too. But yeah. I think I could have gone over and been over in Puerto Rico. I mean, that crowd was just hot.
They were very hot.
But yeah, let's do something with LA Knight. I know my personal pick. Let's let LA Knight win Money in the Bank, because I think it'd be fun. And have him hold that thing almost the whole year. Have him pull a Ziggler. Have him hold it to WrestleMania or beyond.
Yeah.
Like, just have him hold it for a
I
long
hate whenever
time.
they cash in that same night.
Yeah, the women have had a bad habit of doing that.
I hate when they do. It's because they don't know how to book women. It's like, heaven forbid you have a vagina in wrestling. It's like they don't know how to approach you if you have a vagina.
Unless you're NXT or Impact.
Or Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch.
Yeah. Fair enough. But yeah, have LA Knight win Money in the Bank and have him cash it in on... He's on SmackDown. So, I mean, have him cash it in on Cody Rhodes. If you want to put the title on Cody Rhodes at this point. I really wonder what they're going to do with the Money in the Bank. Well, I mean, I guess somebody could cash in on Rollins, but just my only request for Money in the Bank, please don't let it be Brock Lesnar. Please don't let it be Omos, Bobby Lashley. Let's do something different. Let Lashley feud with Roman on his own, because I think that would be a good feud for Roman. But we'll see. But that was main roster WWE. So, is there anything you want to add before we move on to NXT?
I don't think so.
Okay, so NXT this week. NXT is definitely kind of a rebuild from the call-ups. I forgot to mention, The Way made an appearance on Raw. So, Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano, and Dexter Lumis were all together. That was the one call-up I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
We'll look at the NXT title picture first. So, Braun is the opponent. He's going to be the opponent at Battleground. He had a match this week with Trick Williams. I think Trick Williams is a star in the making.
I do too.
I think Trick Williams could stand on his own.
I agree.
He's getting better in the ring. His promos are great. But at the same time, while I think Trick could succeed on his own, I really like Trick and Carmelo together.
Yeah, but it's not fair to Trick, that whole situation. It's
not, but he could always use Mello and turn on him down the road. I think Trick Williams would make a fantastic heel.
Yeah.
Fantastic heel. So Braun beat Trick Williams. I think everybody saw that coming. And Carmelo came in and tried to help, and Braun speared him out of his shoes too. And let me tell you, I thought Braun Breaker's spear was good before. When he hits it on Carmelo, it looks like it kills him.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like it just cuts him in half.
Yeah.
Braun has an excellent spear. Excellent spear. Let's see. For the women's championship, so Indy Hartwell had to vacate. So now we're doing a
Which
tournament.
Makes no sense. She's the only one that had to vacate. Nobody else had to. except her.
Yeah, because I think that's why I think they're merging the tag titles.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Or maybe the women's titles, there'll be a Raw women's title, and the NXT tag titles will be the SmackDown tag team titles for women. Who knows?
Probably not. They'll probably just get one.
Yeah.
Have a title taken away and just get another one. Because you can't have too many women on a show. That's blasphemy.
You're very, very bitter about that today. Let's see. So for our matchups, we had Tiffany Stratton and I believe Gigi Dolan was the first match. Tiffany Stratton won. I think Tiffany Stratton should win the whole thing, personally.
I myself think Gigi Dolan's a much better wrestler than Tiffany Stratton.
You think so?
I think she has she's just better, in my opinion. Tiffany Stratton's good, but Gigi Dolan, in my opinion, is better.
Yeah.
Like, anybody can get up and yell they're the best, which is what Tiffany Stratton does. So, I like Tiffany, but I don't know. I like Gigi Dolan better.
Yeah. That's your preference. Let's see. What was the other? There was another qualifying match. Oh, it was Kiana James and Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah.
And Kiana James. Lyra Valkyria, I like, but I don't know that I get.
Like, what is she supposed to be? Is she a fucking bird? Like, what is she?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't get it either. I guess she's okay. The match was good. Better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, because Kiana James only been there for a year. Whatever the other girl's name, Lyra, she hasn't even been there a year.
Well, what's crazy though is when Kiana James said that she'd only been there a year, we were like, wow, she feels like she's better than that. She's better than a year.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you see her wrestle and you're like, yeah, I could see where she's new. But she definitely feels further along than a year.
Yeah.
But that was fine. We didn't have any shenanigans with Kiana James too. I thought Brooks Jensen might try to come out and help, but it seems like they're doing a hard break there moving forward.
I guess so.
We'll see what happens. For the tag titles, we had Fowler and Reed, which used to be the Grizzled Young Veterans. Man, I miss Grizzled Young Veterans in their Grizzled Young Veterans gimmick. It's the one with Zach Gibson and
from
James
Schism?
Drake. Yeah. They fought Gallus. Gallus was able to retain. I'm sorry, Gallus does nothing for me.
No, neither team does anything for me. I don't really care about Schism. I don't really care about Gallus. I don't care about Schism. I don't like Ava.
Yeah. Well, Ava got her shit kicked in by Ivy Nile.
Yeah.
Like Ivy Nile, the Creeds had to come and get her because she was kicking too much ass.
So I guess they're going to feud, which I'm intrigued to see Ava wrestle because I just can't see her being good yet. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see what it holds. She hasn't. I don't think she's wrestled on NXT yet. Has she? Do you know if she's wrestled on Level Up? Because I don't know that she has.
I have no clue.
But definitely seems like Ivy Nile's going to be Ava's first solo feud. So.
But if Ava's not good, is Ivy Nile good enough to hold her?
I mean, that's what NXT's for. To ask those questions. I mean, sometimes in NXT. There's a lot of really great matches in NXT, but where all these guys are still learning, you still also sit through a bunch of crap.
You do. I worry that's going to be Ava's match.
You worry about that?
Being completely honest.
Yeah.
I just do not have... She doesn't impress me. I feel like she ruins Schism for me because I just don't like her. So... But I'm feeling very negative today, so...
Yeah. So then after that, let's talk about what's going on with Chase U. So... I feel like Duke Hudson's head's getting a little big.
He keeps calling it Duke University.
Yeah.
Instead of Chase U.
Yeah. And I'm here for the Duke Hudson power trip.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's going to have evidence to back it up because he keeps winning when Andre Tracy's gone.
Yeah.
And I love how, Thea Hale's fired up, but it's, a reserved fired up for her.
Yeah.
But,
oh, she's still annoyingly fired up, but... Not as intense.
Interesting fact, we're actually going to an independent show tonight where
Rise
Thea
Wrestling.
Hale started. Yeah.
The promotion's Rise. Yeah.
Okay. I can never remember the name. So that'll be pretty fun. So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens when Andre Chase gets back with Chase U. I kind of wonder if we're starting kind of the end of Chase U. But we'll see. That'll be something, when it's gone, I feel like it'll have served its purpose, but I will miss Chase U being a part of NXT stories. If it is ending.
Yeah.
We have kind of a mystery character going on right now. Somebody's kind of observing all the attacks on people. I've seen several theories as to who it might be. The one that I've seen the most is it's Blair Davenport, who is Bea Priestley.
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I've seen that as a theory, but we don't know who it is yet.
I forgot that she was with NXT.
Yeah. And NXT is kind of moving into like a talk show realm too, because Grayson Waller's leaving. He's taking the Grayson Waller effect with him.
We have Nathan Frazier's talk show.
Yeah, which is like hard-hitting truths or something like that.
We have Noam Dar's coming back next week.
Yeah, the Supernova sessions.
But I think Nathan Frazier and Noam Dar are going to feud because Nathan Frazier was like critiquing Noam Dar's talk show coming back. So, yeah. And
Dragon Lee's in there too, because Dragon Lee's kind of starting a feud with Noam Dar over his Heritage Cup. So I feel like we're kind of gunning for a triple threat there, which I think will be a kick-ass triple threat match when it happens, probably at Battleground. Yeah. Probably for Noam Dar's Heritage Cup.
Because Noam Dar is such a goofy-looking man.
He is. He is, but he can go.
Yeah.
He can go. And when we know Nathan Frazier and Dragon Lee can go.
Yeah.
So if that's the feud that we're building for that Heritage Cup, I'm excited about that.
Firsthand, whenever he was in AEW for a minute, hot second. He threw Kenny Omega over the...
Yeah, it was the night Kenny Omega came back from injury.
It was the night that CM Punk first started to show signs of cracking.
Yeah, that was the same night he called out Hangman Page knowing he wasn't there. Man,
yeah.
We were there for kind of an important Dynamite.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things. We had a couple other matches on the card. We had Dijak and Dragunov. That match ended in a disqualification pretty quickly. That definitely seems like something they're going to continue to build, which is fine. I love Dragunov and Dijak, so I'm here for that feud.
Yeah.
And then we had a pretty good match between Charlie Dempsey and Tyler Bate.
I'm impressed with Charlie. Well, I'm intrigued to see what Charlie Dempsey does.
I am too. I really feel like Charlie Dempsey can be like the second coming of his father.
Yeah, he doesn't have that personality yet, at least that he's showing.
No, he's more reserved right now. But I could definitely see him, kicking ass at some point. I could see him being the kind to dethrone Wes Lee. And I think that would be an interesting dynamic because the North American Championship matches right now are high-flying and fun and fast-paced. I think it would add to kind of his heel dynamic if all the North American Championship matches then slowed down to technical heel-style matches.
Too boring.
Well, no, but it'll make you want the title to get off Dempsey. Yeah. So I think Charlie Dempsey would be an interesting choice to dethrone Wes Lee. But I think they've already done that match, and I think Wes Lee won. But
probably,
we'll see. We'll see. Gulak's crew Gulak's cooking something in NXT because he keeps bringing in people that he think he can help. So Gulak's angling for something, and I'm always going to be okay with Drew Gulak on my TV.
Yeah.
I get enjoyment out of him.
Yeah.
So that covers NXT this week. NXT this week was fine. You can definitely tell they're kind of in rebuild mode, trying to build things back up.
But that's what happens every time I call people up, though, that they go into like rebuild mode.
Yeah. But it's also exciting because then we get to see what new people are going to emerge as the stars. Like NXT call-ups are sad because it's like you want them to go to the main roster and hope that they don't get ruined.
They're going to get ruined most likely on the main roster unless they're like one of the rare few.
Well, I feel like it might be different now.
We can hope.
Yes. But at the same time, while it is sad that happens, it is fun to see what new stars are coming. And to see who steps up and who makes a name for themselves. So it's a very exciting time for NXT. But it is a rough couple weeks out of the gate after the draft because everything's kind of resetting and restarting. So we'll see what happens. But that's the fun of NXT. NXT I feel like is one of my favorite things we watch each week just because I don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know what to expect. So, anything else you think we need to touch on with WWE before we move to AEW?
I don't think so.
Okay. And of course, with AEW, we're only covering Dynamite this week because Rampage is actually tonight. And I don't even know that we're going to get to watch Rampage. No. We might just have to catch the highlights.
Yeah.
But we'll go ahead and we'll talk about Dynamite, which we both said was our show of the week because a lot of shit went down. All right, so AEW this week was pretty eventful. They were building it as an eventful show. So I'm not surprised. As far as the pillars go, the pillars didn't really... They just had kind of like vignettes this week. So they didn't really appear on screen, which I think was the right call because it kind of gives them a chance to breathe a little bit. Plus, you don't want to run those guys too hard and risk somebody not being available for that four-way because I think that four-way is going to be fantastic. But from the championship, we're going to pivot a little bit. Usually we talk about the titles first, but I think we need to talk about Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite because I definitely think that is the second highest story on AEW right now. We had our cage match between Moxley and Kenny Omega. And
it was too bloody.
Shock surprise, it was brutal. We had broken glass. We had barbed wire chairs.
It was too much for me.
But I mean, it was kind of advertised. It was going to be violent.
I mean, Moxley's in it. You knew it was going to be violent.
Yeah. But we ended up, there was a really cool spot where Kenny Omega V-triggered Jon Moxley through the cage, which looked really cool, and it looked like both guys kind of ate shit on it. Like Moxley ate the floor spot, and Kenny looked like he got hung up in the ropes.
Yeah.
And I know there was concern there for a little bit for Kenny's knee, but he seemed to be okay. So that opened the door for Don Callis to come out, who we thought was going to be there to help Kenny.
Yeah.
Kenny hits Moxley with the one-winged angel, has him in the pin. Don takes the screwdriver to Kenny's head. So now Don has turned on Kenny.
Yes.
What do you think this spells moving forward? Is Don Callis going to become the William Regal of the Blackpool Combat Club? Do you think Don Callis is just against the elite now? Do you think Don Callis is leaving? Do you have any ideas?
I have no clue. I don't have any clue.
Okay.
I don't do the whole booking like you do.
Well, no, I'm not necessarily booking it. I was asking you what you think might happen next.
I honestly have no clue.
And that's cool. It we don't know what direction it's going. Because Callis wasn't really over friendly with Moxley or anything. He just kind of attacked Kenny. And then he kissed Kenny on the head where the blood wasn't. And then left.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with Dawn this week. But I do know Kenny Omega is going to be pissed. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. But I think it also opens the door for Hangman to come back in and make amends.
Yeah.
Because Dawn was kind of the barrier there for a minute. Where he was like, oh, I slipped. He didn't really knock me down, even though Dawn made it look like he was knocked down. Like, carny piece of shit. We had a pretty decent match for the international title. We had Orange Cassidy and Daniel Garcia. And Garcia's been doing a lot of dancing lately.
Yeah.
And they even called out on commentary. I think it was Tony Schiavone that said if he was doing less time sports entertaining and just wrestling, he would have won the international title.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like Orange Cassidy's days are numbered. And I feel like I feel like it's going to be Malachi Black.
It deserves to be in a pay-per-view.
Yeah, it does. It's nice to have a title on TV every week being defended.
But there's no story with it.
There's not. It's just an open challenge.
And I think that's kind of getting boring. I want him to have a feud with somebody.
You want him to have like a lengthy feud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's great you're fighting every week, but come on. Give him a fucking story.
Okay.
Right? He has a title. Why not give him a story?
Yeah, you can give him a story. I mean, I felt like we were starting one with House of Black, and then he's kind of pivoted away from it for a little bit. So, like, if Malachi does come back in, I kind of wonder if it's going to feel out of place. Like, maybe we should have done... we didn't need to take this detour.
I don't know. People were on crack whenever they said Tony Khan was Booker of the Year most recently, because you cannot tell me that this man is the Booker of the Year. Like, I love AEW, but he cannot tell a story worth shit. Like, he's not that good at it. He gets distracted. One little thing happens. He doesn't know how to, like, switch it up. So I don't have much faith that there'll be a storyline with Orange Cassidy before he loses his title.
Okay.
If it was WWE, yeah, I'd have faith. But AEW, no.
Yeah, because WWE, it might not be coherent, but there would be a story there.
Yeah.
But I could see that. I could see that. And that's a shame that you're getting bored with Orange Cassidy, because we both really like Orange Cassidy.
I love Orange Cassidy. It's just, I get it. He's going to come out every week and fight.
Yeah.
Give me something else with it.
Well, every week except the week we were there.
Yeah.
But it does seem like he has another challenger coming up, though, because Kyle Fletcher from Aussie Open attacked him backstage.
Yeah.
So it seems like, again, we're kind of diverting. Like, if Malachi Black's the guy, let's stay
I would be more
direction.
intrigued if it was like, oh, I don't know. Who's a big guy? I can't think of his name.
Which one?
The big one in Aussie Open.
Oh, Will Ospreay.
Yes.
Well, I think they're going to do Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy at some point. I keep hearing that it might be Kenny at Forbidden Door, and it might be Ospreay and Kenny at Forbidden Door for the New Japan US title for Ospreay to take it back to New Japan. And then Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay at All In at Wembley Stadium.
Just build a feud for it. I'm so tired of them just putting matches together just for pay-per-views for the hell of it. Because Yes, it's usually a good match, but I want a fucking story with them. I don't want matches just put together.
You know what's funny about that? Do you know who expressed that same thing in an interview this week?
You better not say Jim Cornette.
I'm not going to say Jim Cornette.
Oh.
I was going to say Jeff Jarrett.
Fucking hell.
It's his world.
I don't want to fucking live in it.
Oh, man. I don't think Jeff Jarrett's been that bad since he got to AEW. I feel like he served his purpose well.
Maybe if I wasn't so bitter today, I could agree with that one. But right now, it's just like, I don't care about Jeff Jarrett either.
Okay. Well, let's pivot to the other mid-card title that AEW has, and really kind of feels like it's kind of inconveniencing them anymore to book it, and that's the TNT title. But I think we have a fun feud brewing here with Wardlow and Christian Cage. And I think what we've determined in Christian Cage is if you have in AEW, if you have a dead father, Christian Cage is coming for you. Like, he always takes issues with people that have fathers that have passed away.
Yeah.
Because he called out Wardlow for it again. So we'll see. I think that'll be fun. I really hope that we don't put the TNT title on Christian Cage. I think that title's been hot potatoed enough. Because in the last 3 months, it's been held by Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, Samoa Joe, and Darby Allin. That's a lot of champions in the span of like 3 months or so.
Yeah.
So I think we need to cool it with the TNT title. Honestly, if it were me, and I know this, you're going to be like, this is your solution to everything. I think we need to merge the TNT and international titles.
That is your solution to get rid. Instead of actually fixing the issue, your solution is just get rid of something completely. Mm-hmm. What are you?
Whoa! I knew you were bitter, but damn. Well, speaking of titles, well, here's my point. We still have 2 titles to talk about with AEW. Mm-hmm. So the first one is the tag titles. So FTR is going to take on Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Mark Briscoe is going to be the special guest referee. As long as Mark Briscoe's involved, I'm there.
Yeah.
But we had a spot where like Dax Harwood got something spit in his face, and he didn't know what he was doing, and he hit a pile driver on Mark Briscoe. And I love the fact that Dax Harwood gets in a fight and can't see, and his first instinct isn't to throw a punch, it's to just pick up somebody and pile drive them. Like,
I don't know why your first thought wasn't to get out of the ring. Instead of keep fighting, just get out of the ring until you could see. And then you wouldn't have hurt Mark Briscoe.
Yeah, and they were trying to make it up to Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe was just kind of pushing them off.
Maybe just get out of the ring and that wouldn't have happened.
I still don't think Mark Briscoe's going to turn heel with Jarrett and Lethal. I think they did this just to kind of put doubt in the minds, but I definitely think Mark Briscoe's still going to side with FTR. And I can't wait for that statement to age like milk when it comes to Double or Nothing.
I mean, it might not happen. I mean, I could see him turning heel because his dad warned him against it and everything else. And once your parent tells you to do something, you want to do it. So
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So that'll be interesting. I think it'll be a good match, but I think after we need to move, if you're not going to put the titles on Jarrett and Lethal, move them out of that tag division. Maybe have them chase the Lucha Brothers for the Ring of Honor titles.
Why do they have to chase a title?
I'm just saying if you want them to chase the title, I don't necessarily think they have to. I don't think they have to. And the other titles that were on the line this week were the Trios titles. So we had a House Rules match for the House of Black, and it was really cool how they did the presentation because like the lights were turned down. There was like static up on the screens and on the barricades, or not the barricades, the ring. And the presentation looked neat. And the match was fun. House of Black is one of the best things I think AEW has going.
And Bandito.
Yes, Bandito and Best Friends. I think House of Black's one of the best things AEW's got going.
I agree.
They're extremely over. Their presentation is really unique and cool.
It is.
And look what it's done for Julia Hart. Julia Hart herself is very over now.
She had her Dynamite match, or Dynamite premiere match, right?
She did, and I think she got wrecked.
It was against Anna Jay. She did. I feel like Anna Jay... I feel like Julia Hart's a better wrestler than Anna Jay is. I feel like Anna Jay is not that good of a wrestler.
I think Anna Jay developing that reputation as like the queen of the death match, I think that's a good thing for her to have.
It is, yes.
I think that's a great gimmick for her to carry because Matt Cardona kind of does it on the indies for men.
True, but I feel like Julia Hart should have that because she's with House of Black.
But I mean, that would kind of be giving her 2 gimmicks though, because she has the House of Black witchy stuff and the Queen of the Death match.
That's true. I don't know how Anna Jay's shirt correlates to Queen of Death match though, because it's literally, I get it, girl, you have a fat ass and a bad attitude. I get it. I don't even understand that. Like, why is that something?
I think that's just how cocky she is. Like, she don't care. She's like, I got a fat ass and a bad attitude.
It sounds stupid.
Well, take it up with Anna Jay.
I will. Okay. Actually, we met her and she's very nice, so I don't want to take it up with her.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt her feelings because she's very nice, but still.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, I know a lot of people gave this match praise to Julia Hart and Anna Jay.
Mm-hmm.
I was bored.
I give praise to Julia Hart for continuing because she clearly was hurt.
Yes.
Yeah, she messed up her hip. There was I think it's called a gory special. That was done onto a pile of chairs, and you could tell, like, when you go back and watch the replay, you can see where her hip hit.
Yeah.
Kudos to Julia Hart for toughing it out and finishing it. Like, I couldn't do that.
I know she won a lot of people over with that.
I stubbed my toe, and I have to go sit down and catch my breath. And she might have, like, busted her hip, but she was just like, I gotta keep going.
She did. She got up on the top of the ring and or the top rope and was
you could tell she didn't have trouble kicking out.
She did.
Like, there was a couple times, like, you were like, did she really kick out?
I think she didn't kick out a couple times. I think she was in too much pain.
Yeah.
And I feel like if that's the case, like, if a wrestler clearly doesn't kick out, I think you should end the match then.
Yeah.
Because then all I can think about is how this match shouldn't be continuing. Julia Hart fucking did not kick out, and that's all I could focus on. So that kind of ruined it for me. And I get that she was hurt. Maybe I was being too critical. But... And
they definitely had, like, a spot in the middle of the ring. There was a bunch of chairs stacked up. And they were going to do a superplex, but they missed the chairs. And I think that was probably smart. I mean...
Honestly, Julia Hart might not have been able to get out far enough if she was in that much pain.
That's true. That's true, because it did feel like the suplex was very contained.
I think I just think she was too hurt to get her farther.
That's possible.
In there.
That's possible, because she would have had to put weight on her hip to spring back. So I didn't even think about that, so that makes sense. That's a good observation on you.
This match still was not great.
No, but I definitely...
I know there's a reason for it, but it's not a match I would ever go back and rewatch just for the hell of it.
No, but I definitely feel like there's a place in AEW for Anna Jay just being a deathmatch queen.
She does not care to go hard.
No, she does
not care.
She doesn't care.
And I don't think Julia Hart cares either. Her just little body couldn't handle it.
Yeah. She tried, though.
She did try, yes.
Tried. But
I mean, she still looked terrifying whenever at the end of it, too.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell she was in pain, but she still had that, like, evil glare.
So, I'm interested to see where we go from here.
Yeah.
Like, where we go with Julia.
Yeah.
So Dynamite opened with Claudio and Phoenix in a double Jeopardy match where the winner gets a shot at the other team's titles, or the other person's title. Claudio won. So now I'm sure it's going to be Claudio and Yuta challenging for the Ring of Honor tag titles. But it was a really good match. Phoenix and Claudio had really good chemistry.
Match.
That's because so much happened after.
Oh.
It was a very eventful show.
I don't remember this.
But it was a great opening match. Definitely check it out.
It was the opening match? Oh, yeah. I do have it.
Yeah.
I put Claudio was so strong, it was a good match.
Claudio is a freak. And I mean that in the biggest compliment possible. That dude, I forget sometimes how strong he is. And then he just throws Phoenix like he's no bigger than Lenny. Like, it's crazy. And he's really good. Claudio deserves a spotlight. He's really good. He's been really good for a long time.
I feel like he gets more of a spotlight in AEW than he did. WWE did not. Vince did not know what he had.
No, because he had a match with Roman that everybody wanted, and it kicked ass.
Yeah. Vince just couldn't see it. So I think he does get to shine.
He fought Rollins at Mania. That match kicked ass.
There's just some talent that's just not... Like Wardlow, I think he would do better outside of AEW.
I think Wardlow would do well in WWE, personally.
Yeah, I agree. There's just some talent that you think would be better than others.
I would say that for Wardlow, and I think Powerhouse Hobbs could too.
Yeah.
I think Powerhouse Hobbs would fit great in WWE.
Yeah.
Maybe once I could see Powerhouse Hobbs taking the place of like Lashley when Lashley gets too old to do it anymore. I mean, he's already 46, but age goes out the window when you've got 62-year-old Sting putting Andrade through like 4 different tables.
Yeah.
Another story that we have is Jericho and Adam Cole, which Adam Cole wasn't on the show this week because Jericho went through legal counsel and had him banned from the building. Well, then Roddy Strong comes in and tells Chris Jericho that he wants to have a Falls Count Anywhere match. I'm always down to watch Roddy Strong wrestle.
He's good.
Yeah, he's so good.
I think him and Jericho put in a good match because Jericho does really well with I mean, no, Jericho has like the same moves as usual, but he does. I feel like he usually has good chemistry with everybody he wrestles. I feel like.
Yeah, I've never watched a match that Jericho was in and been like, those two just don't go together.
And I don't feel like I don't feel like Jericho steals the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually the other person steals the show, but Jericho can still compete with them.
Mm-hmm.
So
it doesn't feel like he's holding them back in the ring.
No.
I know a lot of people think he holds them back story-wise, but I think in the ring he doesn't.
I mean, I agree. Jericho's storylines do go on a little too long, but I just love Chris Jericho. And I love Chris Jericho whenever he's whiny and like, I love this
whiny entitled prick Jericho.
I love this version of Jericho.
Yeah. But Roddy Strong actually got smart. He got JAS banned from the building, like Cole was banned from the building for their match. And it's false count anywhere, which leads me to believe they're going to go outside because they're not banned from the property, they're banned from being in the building. Oh. So I definitely think we're going to do something outside. I could see something outrageous happening, like Adam Cole hitting Jericho with a car or something like that. Like, I could see something outrageous like that happening.
Or I could see JAS doing that more to Roddy Strong.
Yeah, or maybe Adam Cole. I mean, who knows? I definitely think shenanigans
it's more of a heel thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, the shenanigans are definitely going to be afoot. Yeah. For sure. And the last thing I want to talk about with AEW is
Miro came back.
Miro's back and Thunder Rosa's back.
Oh crap, I forgot about Thunder Rosa and Thunder Rosa.
And they both went in to talk to Tony Khan, and I love how they interviewed Thunder Rosa, and she was just like, it's a good day to talk to Poppy Khan. I love that she calls him Poppy Khan. Like, but
everybody has, like, so many wrestlers have, like, little nicknames for Tony Khan. Like, Mark Briscoe calls him my friend TK, my good friend TK or something.
Yeah.
There's Poppy Khan. There's just TK. There's like all these little nicknames for Tony Khan.
MJF calls him fucking Mark. Like, but Tony Khan actually made an announcement where Tony Khan appeared to be pretty level. Like, his eyes weren't too bulgy. Like, and he pretty much teased. He was like, everybody's coming to me wanting opportunities. We're gonna make a big announcement. It's the new AEW show.
And it annoyed me. That did annoy me. I was like, why are you doing this? Just stop with the announcements every fucking week. Tell us the announcement. We all already know what's going to be. Just tell us what it is this week. Don't be like, oh, tune in next week to hear it. We already know what it is, TK.
I mean, and I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing per se, but TK is definitely a big fan of his own product.
Is that our thing, calling him TK now?
Yeah, well, that's how I have noted here. But he's a big fan of his own product.
Which is good for him. I mean, you need to be proud of your product.
Yeah.
But, like,
and you know,
I don't want to get dragged along. Just tell me what you need to tell me. I like to know plans. You, like, dragging this out just makes me mad. Just tell me who it is. I know what it is, but just tell me what it is. It's like you're keeping a secret from me, and I know the secret, so just tell me what the secret is.
Like, I know you don't want him back, but I know you're at the point now where you're like, just tell me that CM Punk's coming back so I can process it and move forward.
Just stop fucking being like, oh, tune in next week. I know you have a new show. CM Punk's coming back. I get it. I get it. Just tell me. Like, stop.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're holding it back because some people are going to shit their pants with excitement when CM Punk returns.
Yeah, because...
So I understand. I get it. I get it. I'm like the one person in the world that doesn't fucking like him.
I was just going to say, not everybody follows the reports and stuff like we do.
That's true.
Yeah. Honestly, I think sometimes I would enjoy wrestling more if I stopped looking at those reports.
Probably.
Because then I would be more surprised.
Yeah.
But, so it definitely seems like that Miro and Thunder Rosa are probably going to have a home on Collision.
Good for Miro for coming back, finally. Thunder Rosa.
Man, I'm disappointed we didn't finish that story with Miro in the House of Black.
Well, didn't it stop because
Malachi took time off?
He needed mental health time, so
yeah,
I'm not going to fault that.
I understand that, but like, I still wish the story would have finished. Like, obviously Malachi's mental health is most important, but it's always going to be a what if for me. Like, oh man, what if he felt all right to finish that story? What would have happened? It would have been fun.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think AEW is. I think they definitely have the talent to support a second show. I think, despite some of the reports that I've said, absolutely, I think you should feature women pretty heavily on this show.
You think?
I could see this being a way to, like, you know, get some big stars to tune in, like your CM Punks and your whoever you pull in.
Well, I mean, if Thunder Rosa's coming back, I mean, it's a good chance that she might be on that show.
Yeah, and I think it would be a good opportunity.
Is she going to join up with, like, this Outcast versus...
No, I don't think so.
Because her and Britt Baker do not get along.
No, I don't. I think she's going to the new show to get away from Britt Baker. I think that's part of it.
How sad is it, though, that, like, in a normal workplace, you don't get this whole new thing created for you because you don't play well with others.
Yeah.
Like, in a normal workplace, you're an adult, and you just don't talk to them.
Yeah.
Like, and if you have to work with them, you keep it cordial. But in wrestling, AEW wrestling,
I feel like a very similar approach was taken by. We just have been catching up on All Access recently, and they showed. And I know a lot of All Access is probably scripted as well, but Eddie Kingston conveyed that to Sammy Guevara. Because Sammy's like, "Are we good?" And he was like, "Listen, we got to be pros.
Yes.
We got to be cordial. We got to work together."
Yeah.
Like. So Eddie Kingston understands it.
So, like,
but Eddie Kingston also comes across as somebody that just doesn't put up with bullshit, and I would say that's Eddie Kingston the character. And based on what we saw on the cruise, that's Eddie Kingston the man. He
was just so because Eddie was the one that hung out. He literally hung out with the fan, like just like the normal people.
Yeah, he came over.
Anybody else.
He came over and smoked with us.
He did. And he
had to bum a cigarette from someone.
That happened a couple times. Like and then he would just tell stories.
Yeah,
like, it was fun.
It was really entertaining. I could listen to Eddie Kingston tell stories all day.
I'm just jonesing for the cruise to come back around again. I need a break.
It'll be fun, and we're hopefully this time for the cruise. We're hoping to do some more videos on the cruise to kind of like we had the shorts before where we showed like the wrestling clips and stuff. We're hoping to add on to that, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Of course, we aren't gonna do it. Like, we're not going to post it the same day because I am not paying cruise internet prices.
Can't we do that? No.
Yeah, and I'm not paying cruise internet prices.
No.
But that was your week in wrestling. I think Dynamite was the strongest show this week because there was just so much that happened. There was so much excitement built. There was returns. It felt like a really good Dynamite, and it flew.
It reminded me of like old time AEW because AEW whenever it first started, I just feel like AEW when it first started was so. I don't know. I think it was amazing. I loved AEW more than any other wrestling promotion when it first started. Like, I loved it. And it kind of got more to WWE cast-offs, honestly. Like, it was everybody that WWE didn't want anymore. They came to AEW and they kind of stole the show, and it kind of left behind people that were there from the beginning. So I kind of feel like we're getting more back into, like, those people that were there from the beginning, which is nice.
Yeah, that's why I think the Pillars 4-Way is important because it's going back to basics. It's going back to what got people to tune in and stick around in the first place.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the people that were let go that are in AEW. I like all of them. Like, let go from WWE. And I like them. It's just, you weren't on the show when it was, like, the best thing ever. So, like, I don't know. I wanted to go back to that.
Yeah. Like when we had like more dark, man, did we not appreciate Dark Order when we had it, man? We should have appreciated it more while we had it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. There for a while, it definitely felt like it was like WWE light with the talent that they were showcasing and everything. And I'm glad to see them kind of get back to more of the originals and what made the product, what everybody loved about it so much and the characters that brought us in. And it was fun because we were learning about most of everybody for the first time.
Yeah.
It was fun.
That's the thing I like about AEW too, is that you don't know who's going to pop up. And that helps me learn more wrestlers.
Yeah.
Because if they pop up, obviously WWE does not play well with others. So I know it's going to be somebody from like another promotion that I don't watch.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that.
And I'm fans of people that I didn't even know 2 years ago or 5 years ago existed.
Yeah.
Like, I love Bandito. Didn't know who Bandito was before AEW.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw him at All In, and that was my introduction. And then he came in, and he put on that match with Jericho, and I was like, I love Bandito. I also love it. He's like a desperado kind of thing. I love it. But yeah, that's the weekly wrestling recap. So take that with you. See what you want to watch based on what we talked about. Like I said, we don't cover everything. There's just not enough time. There's barely enough time to cover what we're covering now. It's just a lot. But that's the point. There's a lot. Go out and watch it. Go out and find it. See who you like. If you watch something and it's not really clicking for you, there's hundreds of other options out there.
Yeah.
So enjoy your wrestling. We'll be back next week to talk about AEW and WWE for the week to come. And we'll also talk a little bit about our experience at the indie show that we're going to tonight. So that's definitely important too. Go out and support your indie shows.
Yes.
With that, we will see you all next week.
Later.
Did you like that video? Like, subscribe, and comment to the Figures and Flippy Shit Wrestling Podcast. Oh, yeah.